Everyone having a right to a safe and stable home benefits us all. I come with no other agenda than desperately trying to help people who are in need.
There could be some big changes coming for Queen Consort Camilla. According to The Sun, close sources say that Camilla is set to drop the consort part of her title and just be referred to as Queen. Prince Louis is stealing the show at Trooping the Color once again. On June 14th, members of the royal family gathered for the 2025 Trooping the Color. Everyone deserves to feel safe and happy, especially in their own home, and that includes the royal family. No one expected anything to go wrong that sunny afternoon. It was supposed to be a fun, peaceful day. The royal family had gathered together for a special picnic, a break from their usual formal events. Everyone smiled, laughed, and tried to enjoy this rare, relaxed moment. But by the end of the day, something happened that changed everything. It all started with innocent fun. The children were running and playing on the beautiful green lawns of Balmoral Castle. Prince Louis, the youngest and most playful child of Prince William and Princess Catherine, was full of energy. Prince Louis. To mark the occasion, Kate Middleton and Prince William shared a photo of their youngest child. And his giggles echoed across the garden as he played games and enjoyed time with his cousins and family. Everything seemed perfect. But then, behind the cheerful smiles and polite conversations, trouble was growing. Camilla, the Queen Consort, had brought her grandchildren to the picnic, too. They aren't royal by blood, but Camilla has been including them in more royal events lately. Some people believe she wants her family to feel more like a part of the royal circle. On this day, it seemed like just another opportunity for everyone to come together and feel united. But for Princess Catherine, something didn't feel right. She's always calm and careful, especially when it comes to her children, and she was quietly watching. As the children played, something changed. Catherine noticed Louis standing still. His face was red, his smile gone. Across from him stood one of Camilla's granddaughters. Suddenly, the joy disappeared. Catherine's eyes locked on Louis. She knew instantly something was wrong. Very wrong. She walked toward him, calm, but serious. It wasn't just a mother's worry. It was instinct. This wasn't a silly fight between kids. Something had been said or done, and it had hurt Louis deeply. Tears filled his eyes. The fun picnic had turned into something else. A moment of pain, of lines crossed, and off-quiet tension. And when Prince William saw his son like that, he didn't just stay quiet. He made a decision that shocked everyone. Camilla's granddaughter had gone too far. And the result, she would no longer be welcome in royal circles. Her royal title, already abated by many, was now gone. What happened during that picnic revealed cracks in the royal family, and the fallout was just beginning. The picnic that was supposed to heal royal divides. The British royal family rarely gets the chance to relax like an ordinary family. Most of their days are filled with official work, meeting world leaders, attending grand events, and following strict traditions. There are always cameras watching and people judging. So when King Charles decided to organize a peaceful family picnic at Balmoral Castle, it felt like a breath of fresh air. No speeches, no fancy clothes, no reporters, just family, nature, and a chance to enjoy each other's company. Balmoral, with its wide green lawns and beautiful gardens, was the perfect setting for a relaxing day. Picnic blankets were spread neatly over the soft grass. The royal staff served tea, sandwiches, and small cakes on elegant china plates. The air smelled sweet from blooming flowers and a gentle breeze kept the sun from feeling too hot. It seemed like a perfect afternoon, one that could bring smiles and peace to everyone there. King Charles had a special reason for planning this picnic. He wanted to bring together two parts of his life, his own family and Camilla's family. Since marrying Camilla, now Queen Consort, once known as the other woman, Camilla is now the Queen. Kind of the new king's darling wife has become the Queen Consort. Charles had tried to make sure her children and grandchildren felt welcome. He believed that building closer ties between them and his own royal family could create unity and harmony. This picnic was meant to help everyone feel like one big family. Camilla arrived with her grandchildren who are not royal by blood. Still, Camilla has been including them more and more in royal events. Some people think she simply wants them to feel loved and accepted, but others wonder if she's quietly trying to push them into the spotlight as if they belong to the royal world. It's something that has caused whispers among palace staff and even some concern among the royals themselves. Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, came with her 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and the youngest, Prince Louis. Catherine is known for being calm, graceful, and very protective of her kids. As a mother, she always pays close attention to what's going on around them, especially when she's at public or family events. That day, Catherine smiled warmly and spoke lightly with the other adults. She sipped her tea, laughed at small jokes, and appeared to enjoy the sunshine. But her eyes every so often would drift toward little Louis, who was running and playing on the grass. Louis, full of energy and joy, was having the time of his life, laughing, chasing after the royal dogs, and calling out to his siblings. The other children, including Camilla's grandchildren, joined in the games. There was tag, races, and even a little hide and seek behind the garden bushes. The adults enjoyed seeing the kids play freely. Laughter filled there, and everything seemed so easy, so peaceful. King Charles watched proudly, thinking perhaps his plan had worked. Maybe this picnic really would bring everyone closer. Maybe this simple day would help build bridges between the 2 sides of his family, his royal bloodline, and Camilla's extended family. But behind the cheerful noise, there was a quiet tension that not everyone noticed. Some family members were still unsure about Camilla's grandchildren being so involved in royal life. After all, they didn't have titles, and many wondered if they truly belonged in these royal gatherings. For Princess Catherine, her smile remained polite, but inside she stayed alert. Her number 1 job, as always, was to protect her children, especially Louis. Everything seemed perfect. The children were happy, the adults relaxed, and the mood was light. But sometimes, even the sunniest days can change in an instant, one unexpected trouble. No one thought the peace would break. But then, like a sudden cloud passing over the sun, something shifted. Something small at first, easy to miss if you weren't paying attention. But for Catherine, that small shift was enough. She noticed it before anyone else. The laughter from Louis stopped. He stood still, his back stiff, his face no longer smiling. His hands were clenched at his sides. Catherine's eyes locked on him immediately. She knew her son's moods like the back of her hand. Something was wrong. Very wrong. In that moment, the lovely picnic that one meant to. Her smile faded, her eyes sharpened, and she stood up, clearly sensing something was wrong. Louis was standing still, his body stiff. His cheeks were red, not from running or playing, but from emotion. His eyes were glassy, as if he was holding back tears. Catherine could tell from the way he was clenching his little fists and looking down at the ground that something had hurt him. Across from Louis stood one of Camilla's granddaughters. Her arms were crossed and her face showed no guilt. There was tension in the air, and even though most of the adults were still busy chatting and sipping tea, Catherine's full attention was now locked on Louis. Without hesitation, Catherine walked toward him, calm, but with purpose. Her instincts as a mother told her everything she needed to know. This wasn't just a silly disagreement between children. Something serious had happened. Later, whispers around the palace told the full story. Witnesses said that Camilla's granddaughter had spoken harshly to Louis. Some said she called him names, mocked him in front of the other children, and made him feel small. Others believed she may have pushed him, or teased him cruelly. Whatever the exact truth was, one thing was certain: Louis felt bullied, and it was clear from his tearful eyes and trembling hands. Prince William, seeing his son upset, rushed over. He bent down to Louis, wrapping his arms around him and speaking in a soft, comforting voice. But Louis's usual brightness was gone. The happy, carefree boy who had been laughing just moments before was now wiping away tears, his face filled with confusion and sadness. This wasn't normal childhood teasing. This wasn't just a small argument that would pass in a few minutes. This was something deeper, something that left a mark on Louis's heart. And for William and Catherine, it was more than just upsetting. It was heartbreaking. William and Catherine have always gone out of their way to protect their children. They know how hard royal life can be. The spotlight is always shining on their family, and the pressure to be perfect is heavy. They've tried to shield George, Charlotte, and Louis from that pressure. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are some curious little kiddos, letting them enjoy a normal childhood as much as possible. But this time, the hurt didn't come from the outside world. It didn't come from paparazzi, strangers, or the press. It came from inside the family, someone they had trusted, someone who had been welcomed into their home and their private lives. For Catherine, this moment was a wake-up call. For William, it was a breaking point. The peaceful picnic had turned into something very different. A happy day had been spoiled, and their son had been hurt. And both parents knew they couldn't let it go. The moment Louis stopped was the moment everything changed for him, for his parents, and for the royal family. William's bold decision, no more royal privileges. After the picnic at Balmoral, things did just return to normal for William and Catherine. They couldn't stop thinking about what had happened to Prince Louis. It wasn't something they could ignore or brush aside. That moment, seeing their son upset, confused, and in tears stayed with them, and they both knew something had to bed when. Later that evening, once the guests had left and the castle was quiet, William and Catherine sat down to talk. Behind closed doors, away from the staff and family, they shared their thoughts, their concerns, and their emotions. They were both upset, not just because Louis had been hurt, but because someone from inside their family circle had caused that pain. They talked for hours, and by the end of their conversation, one thing was clear. They couldn't allow this behavior to continue. It didn't matter who it was, they had to take a stand. Not only for Louis, but for all their children. William knew he had to act, and he couldn't wait. The very next day, William made a bold decision. Camilla's granddaughter, the same girl who had bullied Louis, would no longer be welcomed at royal events. She wouldn't attend public gatherings with the royal family, and any special treatment she had been given was now gone. She didn't have an official royal title, but she had been treated like she belonged. Not anymore. William's decision was quick, firm, and serious. It sent a strong message not just to Camilla's family, but to everyone watching. His children's well-being came first above all else. It didn't matter if the person causing harm was part of the extended royal circle. There would be no second chances when it came to bullying. This move shocked many people. Royal experts said they had never seen anything like it before. Normally, the royal family handles issues quietly. Problems are solved in private. They avoid public drama at all costs. But this time was different. William didn't want to keep it hidden. He wanted the world to know that there were real consequences for hurting his son. News about William's decision spread quickly. Social media lit up. Headlines around the world reported the story. Some people were surprised, but many supported William. They praised him for protecting his son and for being a strong, loving father. Parents everywhere are related to his actions. They said he did what any caring parent would do, stand up for their child. However, not everyone was happy. Some wondered if this decision would create problems between William and Camilla. Would this hurt the relationship between William and King Charles? Could this cause more tension inside the royal family? These questions filled newspapers and online debates. But even with all the talk, William didn't change his mind. He stood firm. His message was clear and simple. No one, no matter who they are, can hurt my children and expect to stay in the royal circle. This wasn't about drama. This was about family, respect, and protecting those who cannot protect themselves. William had made his choice, and by doing so he showed the world that being royal doesn't mean you have to stay silent. Sometimes even a prince must make hard decisions for love, for justice, and his children's peace. Catherine's quiet strength and motherly worry. While Prince William took the bold step of removing Camilla's granddaughter from royal events, Princess Catherine showed her strength in a very different way. A quiet, steady kind of strength that only a loving mother can show. She didn't give speeches and she didn't make any public statements. She stayed out of the spotlight completely. Spotting Kate out and about wouldn't necessarily indicate her readiness toward some royal duties. But those who were there that day saw how deeply she cared and how closely she watched over Prince Louis. Catherine didn't need to say much. Her actions spoke louder than words. The moment she saw Louis upset, her full